Hi everyone, Paul Batfay, roving reporter for the IAF Oceania Conference, running in Melbourne from the 25th to the 27th of May, and here talking with Moira Deslandes in beautiful Adelaide, in South Australia. Thanks so much, Moira, for joining me. And first question for you, what's it like facilitating in Adelaide and around South Australia for you?
I love it because South Australians are incredibly willing to be involved in things.
Yep.
We've got a long history of participation and collaboration and partnerships.
Yep.
So people usually turn up ready to join in, which is great. And I think too that that generally on the whole, South Australia also likes to have a say in things. So people want to be involved in the decisions that impact on their life. And so they turn up at everything, which is great. I facilitate a whole range of different circumstances, mainly in the not-for-profit sector, but a little bit in government as well, and occasionally in the commercial environment. And I'm working in really large collaborations, with organisations, 30 and 40 stakeholders, plus community members, particularly in a collective impact initiative in the southern suburbs. So I'm supporting that whole process, and also in small, really tiny little things like staff meetings and boards and who are trying to make big decisions and need some support to the process to help them with those decisions.
Yeah, so quite clearly using facilitation as an instrument to get a difference happening. Yeah, okay, nice. And you've got the CPF accreditation, Certified Professional Facilitator. Particularly being in a state like South Australia, what difference has that made to your practice?
Well, I think certainly going through the process made me do the work that I perhaps had taken for granted. Like actually going through the process itself, I think is a really important professional development activity. And I've been facilitating for a very long time, as you can tell by my grey hair. And I think that by putting myself through the process, it meant that I started to think more intentionally about all the micro steps, as well as just, the overall. So it gave me an opportunity to fine-tune some of those skills, and also an opportunity to reflect on where I could improve in my practice. Since having that certification, it's meant that I am much more intentional at every step than I perhaps was before, and I really pay attention in a way that I might not have prior to that. In terms of, from a commercial point of view, it's useful to tell people that I've got an international credit and that it's recognised by people around the world. But it's not of itself valuable in that sense. I think the biggest value to me has been in actually improving my own practice and tapping into a community of practitioners who are doing the similar work to me.
Yep, fabulous. It's always good to meet another CPF. Let's talk conferences.
Yes.
So you've been to IAF conferences before, I think here in Adelaide.
Yes.
We had one, and also Singapore. What do you love about them?
What do I love about them? Well, firstly, I love the dancing and the singing and the food and the great company. It's really wonderful just to come just from that point of view. You find your tribe when you come to an IAF conference, and all the things that go with tribal experiences. So I'll leave that to the viewers to work out what that might mean.
Google Tribe.
So I think the other things I love. It's a great opportunity to expand your horizons and take workshops that you might not normally take. And often people in our business, we're the ones giving the workshop. So it's a really great time just to sit back and be a full participant rather than a contributor or being responsible for the process. So I love going because I get a bit of a rest from that. I don't volunteer to give a paper or a conference or run a workshop because I want to be nourished, and that's wonderful. Those of you who were at the Adelaide IAF conference, you'll know that I'm not completely telling the truth. Because my playback company did the evaluation piece at the end of the Adelaide conference, and we had some storytelling and used playback theatre as a method. And the role that I play in that company is as what we call the conductor, which is essentially the facilitator's role. So that was a wonderful way for me to show my things that I love to do with my peers, and I know it was a lot of fun. People still talk to me about it, so I know it was a great night.
Great stuff. And yeah, so I guess you mentioned there, facilitation can, I guess, be a bit of a lonely gig. You're there yourself, albeit with a bunch of people, trying to be invisible and leading people to an outcome. And then you all get together at a conference. What are you most looking forward to at the Melbourne conference?
Yeah, there'll be no invisibility, I can assure you. The cloak of invisibility disappears at IAF conferences. Everyone comes out and is very visible, and that's exciting. I'm looking forward to catching up with people I haven't seen since the last conference.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to meeting some new friends and learning more about their practice. I'm looking forward to having a chance to be in Melbourne, because I love visiting Melbourne, and I've got a son who lives there, so that's always a positive thing. I think it's about being in a community of peers that I'm really looking forward to the most.
Yep. What a wonderful note to finish on. Thanks, Moira, and I look forward to seeing you and a few other people in Melbourne.
Yeah, bye from Adelaide. See you in Melbourne.
See ya.